order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Thank you. Mics, guys, make sure the mics are on.
Supervisor Hill, Treasurer Anderson,
Yes.
Trustee Hoppy,
Here.
Osling,
Here.
Squires. Here.
Thank you. It's time now for the approval of the meeting agenda. I have no additions, corrections this evening. Any of the board member? Correct.
Nope.
Nope. Approve the meeting agenda as presented
So moved.
by Clerk Squires. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Same motion carried. With the approval of the consent agenda. Again, there's no changes to that. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second. Any further discussion, board? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, same, motion carries. Thank you. We're on down to the elected officials reports. Obviously, they're back there on the table. They're also out on the internet regularly on the website. And so I would entertain a motion at this time. Place the elected officials report, accepted and place on the file for
So moved.
by Clerk Squires.
Second.
Second by Chair Nyland. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Carries, thank you. Okay, we're on to the first section of public comments. The public comments we ask at this time would be on the 1 through 10 items. 1 through 10. The second public comment section is to get anything about anything you want to talk about. Anybody in the audience? Is there anything on Zoom? All right, not seeing any. We're going to go right into the public or the new business. The number one, you received an application, or shall I say, a new application form with a fee suggested in our work session by Jason Jansen, our zoning administrator. It has to do with a citizen's request for zoning ordinance amendment. And not having anything like that on file, he had asked us to entertain what he had presented. You all had copies of that. And he also had suggested a fee of $300 be the amount that would be collected for such a request. You guys want to talk about that at all, or are you ready to vote?
I think we discussed it.
We did.
Work session.
Okay,
He explained it very well.
just a new form. I just want to make sure nobody had any second thoughts. I've entertained the motion, the board approves the application for zoning amendment request with the fee be established at $300.
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Clerk Squires, Treasurer Anderson. Any further discussion, board? Hearing none, all those in favor? No, we need a roll call because of the.
Trustee Osling,
Yes.
Treasurer Anderson,
Yes.
Supervisor Hill,
Yes.
Trustee Hoppy,
Yes.
Clerk Squires.
Yes.
5-0, 5 yeas and no nays, so that passes. We're on to number 2 on the agenda. We have number 2 is the request by our arena manager for a new hire is Brianna Braza as a level 1 marina worker. We entertain a motion that the board approve Brianna Braza as a level 1 marina seasonal worker pending completion of background check, physical and drug screening. We would have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Well, thank you. Trustee Appy,
Support.
or trustee Osling, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, keep saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Thank you. There was a second on here And I believe this brings them now up to what would be full. Yeah. Is a recommendation by our area manager to rehire, he has been an employee last year.
Couple years, around 2020, 2022.
Brian Barber is a level 2. Really a seasonal worker, so I would entertain a motion that the board approve Brian Barber as a level 2. A worker, like a way to see that, but she is dependent completion of background check, physical and drug screen.
I'll make that motion.
Clerk Squires,
I'll support.
support trustee Happy. Any further discussion, board? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Carries. Thank you. Number 4 on the agenda is looking to amend verbiage of our junk and garbage ordinance number 34. That's how you read that.
Yeah,
Ordinance 30, Roman numeral 34, the junk vehicle. We discussed this at our work session as well. Also been out there for many months, maybe years, discussing it. This is an inconsistency between our ordinances of junk vehicle and junk and garbage. Junk and garbage, our ordinance for that, like comment refers to both residential and commercial. And this junk vehicle ordinance, for whatever reason, when it was written, was not applicable to commercial as well. And it has become, I shouldn't say become, it's been a problem for a bit in commercial with the junk vehicles, and that type of thing. So that being said, I think we talked that over, and are you folks ready to, it's literally changing it to particularly promotion. Are you folks ready for that? You want to talk more about it?
good.
Good.
Good by me.
I would entertain a motion the board approves ordinance 34, section 1B, the quote, privately owned parcel of land located in any district, end quote, to replace residential specific property language. Anybody want to make that?
So moved.
By Treasurer Anderson,
I'll support.
or Clerk Squires. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by
No.
saying, oh, excuse me, roll call, order.
Oh, yeah.
Treasurer Anderson,
Yes.
Supervisor Hill,
Yes.
Clerk Squires.
Yes,
Trustee Ostling,
Yes.
trustee Abby.
Yes.
That is 5 yeas and no nays. That motion has passed. Chief, if you will see to it that those appropriate changes have been made as were articulated by our township attorney in there for that specific language, and get us one whole copy. It has to go in a paper for a proper amendment for 30 days. And to do accordingly. I'm sure that would help Clerk Squires getting that accomplished. Yes, is that a yes? Would you? Yeah. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you and Jason for your work on that. You keep that. Well, I say, coming forward. Number 5, this is a new hire for the Gerrish Township Fire Department, EMS. Katie Moore as an EMT. For those of you that haven't been in the last couple of work sessions, we do have one employee that's not a rather long term leave, if you will, injury leave. And so Christie had come to the board, Chief Gilliam, to look for ways to try to pay some of those who can possibly fill the shift with the current employees. We're looking at some temporary folks to fill those shifts while this goes on. We don't know how many months, but it could be quite some time. 12 months. Very good. So that being said, she has brought to us at the work session, Captain Wooten, something for her, and sent a message that she would like the board to authorize Chief Gilliam to hire Katie Moore as an EMT as a contingent part-time position pending background physical and drug screening. Do I have a motion by somebody?
So moved.
Moved by Treasurer Anderson.
I'll support.
Support. Squires. Discussion. Those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Thank you. Number 6 is basically a companion to that, which would be the second person. And so I would entertain a motion that the board authorize Chief Gilligan to hire Thomas Brooming, who is an EMT / firefighter, as a contingent part-time position pending background, physical, and drug screen. And then we'll make that motion.
So moved.
Move Treasurer Anderson.
Support.
Support Clerk Squires. Any further discussion, folks?
Just a question, how close does that bring you up to a full complement of people? Are you still looking for more? Always need them?
Maximum, don't have. So right now, we've got 3 contingent people who can eat the bill shift, they all have other jobs elsewhere, so it doesn't hurt to have.
Thanks.
No.
Yeah. Never.
All right, very good. All right, we're at the, we had discussion, any more discussion, folks? All those, in favor, keep saying aye.
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 Oppose the same. Motion carries. And we're on to number 7, and this is, we have 2 positions on the Gerrish Township Planning Commission that are expiring on July 1. They're 3-year terms. And one position is occupied by Greg Seamak currently. I'm talking with Greg, he had indicated that he was interested in seeking that reappointment for that and to that position. And so I would entertain a motion to reappoint Greg Seamak to the Gerrish Township Planning Commission for the 3-year term beginning 7/1/26 and to expire on 7/1/29.
I'll make that. Okay.
Moved by Treasurer Anderson,
Support.
support by Trustee Osling. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Favor, keep saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All the same, motion carries. Thank you, Greg. Thank
Yes,
you.
a big thank you.
And services for another 3 years. Appreciate it. Number 8. This one is Treasurer Anderson. I'll briefly give you, we'll do that stuff.
Yeah, so the tax bills go out twice a year, July 1st, December 1st. Historically, the township has always hired a third-party company to do the bulk mailing. There's about 5,000 plus tax bills that go out, and this $4,400 covers not only the printing and distribution of it, but also the postage. So you could do this in-house for this price.
Right.
And as efficient as it is. So carrying on with the same process that you've done in the past, the company KCI is located in Grand Rapids, and they do a lot of these for a lot of the townships throughout the state. They do a really good job. So I'm asking for that approval for the contract so we can get those mailed out.
All right. So I would entertain a motion that the board approve the treasurer to enter into a contract with KCI for summer 2026. Bills is about $4,457.22.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Osling, support Clerk Squires. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Keep saying aye. Oh, excuse me, roll call
Oops.
again.
Clerk Squires,
Yes.
Trustee Osling,
Yes.
Trustee Appy,
Yes.
Treasurer Anderson,
Yes.
Supervisor Hill.
Yes, that's 5 yeas and no nays. The motion passes. I'm gonna have to start putting a neon light on it.
I know.
Highlighting.
It's not a neon light. All right, we're on to number 9. Proposed changes for the request for bid process. As we had discussed this at our work session, and I know we've discussed it one-on-one for quite some time. We are not bound by any of the state statute that indicates what our bid amount, what our amount threshold has to be before you seek and open up bids. So in researching our policy goes back quite a few years. It was set at $10,000, and it's really hard to do any project at this point in today's world for $10,000. And when you I think you should always, if you have time to bid, things, we should do that regardless, but you have things that pop up that are things are out of water. Things, furnaces are bad, your things are whatever. It's awful cumbersome to do a 60 to 90 day process to get things through and up and moving to restore what I call the normal business comforts, if you will. So with that, I came to the board work session there, and I am going to make a motion that the board approve the policy amendment entitled Section 3 of the Gerrish Township Policy Manual to increase the financial threshold for required bidding from $10,000 to $20,000 as presented in the policy copy I gave you. I am making the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Treasurer Anderson. Any further discussion?
I think it makes sense. It's within, you're still bound by the budgets to, that doesn't change anything. And it keeps us in a furnace when we need it, instead of, it's still subject to the scrutiny of the rest of the commission or the rest of the board to make sure it all comes together. But I think it's a good move to make it to 20,000.
Historically, there was a state statute.
There was, yes.
Has since been repealed. And if you were to look at most governmental units our size, you would find that the 20,000 is consistent with what they're doing. So that 10,000 was literally 40 years ago,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
better. And so you take inflation in the 20 is the same as the 10 was back then.
Treasurer Anderson,
Yes.
Clerk Squires.
Yes.
Trustee Osling,
Yes.
Supervisor Hill,
Yes.
Trustee Appy.
Yes, yes, excuse me.
5 yeas and no nays, that motion passes. Thank you. Shall I give you the amended copy? You've heard furnace, we have some over here also.
We keep
Oh,
thinking
now.
that's the last big thing. It should be.
That's big things, but we keep turning over. All right, on to number 10, which is Parks and Recreation reappointment. Of Dan Simon. These were, as you recall, we kind of broke up the terms of those things so that not everybody was expiring all at once, and there were 2 one-year terms. And it has one of the 1-year terms. And it was given to me that the correct planning, Parks and Recs Committee definitely support, and Dan Simon wants to be back on the committee. And so I would entertain a motion that the board reappoint Dan Simon to the Parks and Recs Committee for a 1-year term. And it's actually from April 1st, 26 to April 1st, 27.
I'll make that motion,
That is, well, that's a motion that I've written. Do you want to claim it?
claim it. And make it happen.
Okay. Trustee Appy for the motion, Clerk Squires for the support. Any further discussion, board?
Does that bring us up to?
No,
No, we're missing.
No, we're
one
still-
here.
Still missing.
we're still missing. It is out there for
Make it 5.
to re-up,
Yeah.
but it's a 1-year. It is out there, but I'm not aware of any applications that have.
Do you have some?
Don't any applications. Had 2 people that
Reached out.
inquiry and from the Facebook repost. And I spoke with one and I've been texting with the other, and they're both working. So, they're hemming and hawing about whether they want to commit,
Okay.
telling them it's so late, it's only more. But
Well, it's out there until it's filled, so that's where we're at.
Did we make that motion all the way?
Larry got it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We all agreed?
Adam
We all
Squires,
agree.
yep. Nope.
Favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Thank you. And we're on to the comment section. As they say, no hold barred. From the audience, please. Is in the house.
Everybody wave.
Are you?
Come on up. Please state your name for the record.
And I'm on. Can you hear that? Green's on.
You're on.
Greens go. Talk loud. I can do that. I don't think I've ever been quiet in my life. Anyway, Kim Morley, Gerrish Township, County Commissioner for District 2. Have a few updates again for you guys. Our new Drain Commissioner has been appointed. That is Rebecca Reagan, if you do not know yet. Just to clarify a little bit of, I've heard through social media that there was confusion that she's still the treasurer and we've put her in this position and complaining. So that is not true. She has been retired for a while. But anyway, I will say that immediately she hit the ground running. As soon as she was appointed, she was in the office getting the drain codes. She's already worked with Supervisor Hill and I on trying to meet with one of our residents on some concerns around the drain. So kudos to her to just hit the ground running. I did meet with the road commissioner manager, Roger Saxton, about a resident in the Lyon Township area around some no parking signs that have been going on. You guys know a lot of this as well because you've been dealing with it in Gerrish, but they don't really have a commissioner that helps them right now. And so Roger was very good at giving me all the background and the information. And it looks like these people might be just trying to get some extra info. So emergency management is still working on the wildfire protection plan. There was one done in the past and it needed to be updated. So that's being worked on. All the reporting that still needs to go through for the flooding and the ice storms, they're still having all of you guys collect it, get it ready for whenever they can submit it. Spongy moth, that meeting I went to, learned an awful lot about spongy moth that I never knew. But obviously, since they're not spraying this year, but they are still checking things. So the way I understand it is they're no spraying based upon what they found last year, but they will still go out and look at things. A lot gets confused with the tent caterpillar things. They think that's spongy moth, but it's not. So, and I heard that those things reside in the cherry trees. They love cherries. So you have a cherry tree and it's on there, it's not spongy moth. Central, huh? Oh, yes. The things you learn. Yeah, but apparently they are not, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know I had one of those trees
Creepy.
until I learned that. Central Michigan District Health Department meetings. Earlier on, I shared with you about the RX for Kids program that was available in Roscommon. There's a strong chance that will not survive. And here is what I know today. A portion of that budget comes from what they call TANF money, TANF. I don't know what that acronym stands for, so don't ask me. So my question to them is, I don't understand if only a portion of it comes from TANF. Where else is the money and can it not stay? Or is it just going to be gone because they don't get that portion from TANF? I don't know that answer today. Still waiting to hear. There's a chance maybe we'll keep it. I don't know, but that could be on the chopping block. Okay. They are working through their 26-27 budget. As you know, the county does contribute to the Central Michigan District Health Department every year. It's like over 20 grand. I mean, it's a pretty good number. And so this year they're not raising our allocation or asking for more appropriation this year. They haven't for a couple years, hopefully using their reserves to offset any of their union negotiations and those increases. So my question, well, they also said, but it's coming. Be prepared. I was like, well, we're doing a 3 to 5 year budget. When do you anticipate? Next year, 2 years, 3 years? They couldn't say, but it's coming. The next question was really what happens because every county has to approve whatever they're asking for that particular allocation. I said, what if a county doesn't approve it? The answer to me was, this has happened in the past, and I think even in Roscommon, they will find the money in another fund. They will get their money regardless, and they will start to charge our residents more money for services. So I'm not sure where that's going to go. I'm hoping that's not in the near future, but if you understand me any way, shape, or form about budget, that's not the way to play. So we'll keep an eye on that because I'll still kind of have close connections with that group. Just a heads up, our meeting tomorrow, in the regular meeting, we will be looking at that opioid fund. It looks like we've got some more information from Commissioner Wolfson to look at and review. Only 3% of that money can be used towards education. It's one of the criteria for that opioid fund money. So we're trying to hear what the plan is. Only 3% of the funds can go to just education, which makes sense. We've got a lot of education out there about drugs and everything. So it's really designed to figure out a way to keep people from not keeping in that circle. I got let out of jail. I go do this again. I come back. I go to rehab. I come to here. How are we keeping them from staying in that circle? That's really the intent of the opioid wraparound funds. So if you're interested in that, we'll be having more discussion on that tomorrow. Well, we do have education in our jails. We have education in schools. And so what they're trying to do is not have other groups who already do that get more money to do the same thing and not put it towards transportation, housing. What are you going to do? That's really the intent of it.
Entities that, other nonprofits that work on that. Because we have like the Lions Den right here in town that's doing a pretty decent job.
Absolutely. To me, it is our intent as a county to not release more of that money until we understand what that program specifically for this county is going to look like. Bring the stakeholders together, find out where the gaps. There's a lot of things you could learn by each of the entities that are involved in any of that. So, well, that will continue in some conversation. It won't be solved tomorrow, but that'll still be in the agenda. The ORV ordinance for the county ordinance was brought to us, and so I think they're going to put a task force together. It came from the law enforcement there in Richfield, which they have a heavily use of that. It came to our attention that other law enforcement and other groups that get contacted about ORV ordinance or issues were not involved in looking at it. So I think they're going to bring that group together, review the verbiage and any other changes before we try to make a decision about any changes to it. Oh, okay.
Here we come.
Mhm. Absolutely.
I think there's a bill out there for golf carts to be
There is.
managed locally
Mm-hmm.
by your local horse.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, we probably don't need to argue between local, state, and yeah.
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 What that would look like, and here we are.
So I'm not saying that ordinance going to change or whatnot, but we weren't going to try to pass something that was presented to us that others have not had input into. So we'll see where that goes. The tenant, go ahead. They said what? Go ahead.
The 222 attractiveness down there.
They advertise that.
Certainly, I'm definitely hoping, Chief, you'll be involved in some way, shape, or form in looking at that. On behalf of us here, because we didn't necessarily invite, it was invited.
Got it.
Yeah, we had that, Richfield was the one that wanted to try to get this amendment on the where we were because of the issues that they're having.
Yeah, okay, I won't belabor it.
That's okay. Yep. But we definitely need to not vote on something. One,
Correct.
the other question that we have to look at is you can add a whole bunch more to it, but do you have the ability to enforce it? that is one of the questions on the table, at least from the board's perspective too. So the 10 o'clock work session, the new CEO for Northern Lakes Community Mental Health, which is we are a part of, her name is Linda Zeller. She will be coming before us to present about the work that's being done in our region and for our group. It is one of our requirements as well. She volunteered, she wanted it, but it is one of the board's requirements for those agencies who receive money from us must come before us 2 times a year and give us an update, not only on how their whole budget for the region's going, but how is that impacting us in Roscommon alone based upon the volume of money that we give them every year. So she will be one of those. We will be looking at the Roscommon Commission on Aging. There is an agreement between the county and them. We are truly only fiduciaries of that millage money and that group. However, there is some questions from their board about the terms of the agreement. One of which is there's words like, we're going to exceed all their expectations and add more programs than, so,
Between the county and the CO.
yes.
Well, it's actually by statute.
Mhm.
And that statute is written specifically for counties to contract
Correct.
with the Commission on Aging. There's
Correct.
2 different ways it could be done. Yours is you levy the millage.
Mhm.
It's a county millage. You then contract with the Commission on Aging. So that's
Correct.
it's the accountability issue that,
Mhm.
and I'm speaking from my prior
Mm-hmm.
experience when as your auditor, that there was a lack of a contract. There was a lack of real understanding because they were just basically vouchering 40 grand out of that fund and
Using it.
it was like, well,
Mhm.
it's their money. They can ask for whatever they want, but in
Mhm.
reality, it's your money and you're contracting with them.
To
And
deliver.
They're required to supply you with
Yep.
a copy of their audit, their 990,
Yep.
their accomplishments.
That's in the agreement. So I don't think there's the question because they have been providing that. I think it's some people who aren't sure of some verbiage in there. And is that still good? Is it not? But we'll see. I don't know all the questions. It was put on our agenda to look at. So we'll look at that. I think the biggest misconception is that we run the COA. Like we are in charge of their programs, what they do and what they don't do. That is not true. And so that is something that people need to understand. We don't tell them how to run what they do. We're the fiduciary. We're appropriations, just like we would any of the elected officials in our department. If you're not using the money well, then we need to have a talk. So I think that's probably a piece of it. I'm not sure, but that will be discussed in the work session. Lot of work, and I'll end with this, really looking at those property tax reform bills, especially through the House appropriations and their bill analysis. Not sure where that's going to end, but we're trying to keep an eye on that as we think about how is that going to impact us in the next few years when it comes to the money that comes through from the county. So we have been trying to do a lot of due diligence to follow up on that and keep that in our radar just in case some of those get passed or don't get passed. From pop-up tax to the education tax, all those are wrapped into how they're going to fund and do this reform. So at least it's a reform and not a complete take it away, that at least from the House, analysis. So other than
These
that,
ideas, when it comes to midterms, nobody's short of ideas.
yeah, it's
Now
election.
we'll see if there's some follow through on it.
We will see. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm not sure what all will get done, but that's kind of on our docket. Anything else you'd like me to take before the board at our meeting tomorrow?
Question, because this is, I've been hearing a little rhetoric and the gypsy moth.
Mhm.
The, if you're only doing the testing, which is a small part of the total
Mhm.
village, and I know from history, like doing a spray in 1 year cost $1 million.
Yeah.
What you've had in
Mhm.
the past, I don't know what it is now, but I know that's what the contract was. I don't know how much is sitting in there. I didn't look or anything
Okay.
like that, but I assume you're thinking down the road, or there's a recommendation either to bank the money for, a larger spray in a future year, or roll
Yeah.
back the millage for a year. And historically, the county, my recollection, did that one time. This would have been
Okay.
20-some years ago, they were sitting on extra money and they didn't levy it for a year.
Okay,
So they could have, but they didn't because they knew they weren't gonna use the money.
okay,
So I guess I think if, for your benefit as a commissioner and for the commission as a whole, it'd probably do well to state what you're thinking,
okay.
because that's what mulch a lot of that stuff you're hearing on the street about, the bank are taking our money and they're not doing anything.
Okay, got it.
You follow me?
I do now. That was the very first meeting I'd ever attended because I'm filling in on somebody who used to sit on that committee. And I'm like, okay, I learned an awful lot about the education of a gypsy moth and what they've done in the past and how they track them and stuff like that. I will be going out with them. I said I would put my muck boots on and show me what you do when you start to do that. But I'll take that
And I'm
before
not saying
them.
they're doing a bad job, and I'm not
Right.
saying that the decision not to spray was a wrong decision. I'm just saying.
It's the messaging that people are hearing on that.
Put
You
it
bet.
out there, either you're banking it for a future spray or we're considering some other options so that, because you can't use it for anything but that program.
Right.
It can't be transferred out,
Correct.
utilized in any other place.
Okay.
And I just remember, and this would have been probably in the 90s even, or early,
Okay.
or little, maybe a little bit later than that, when they decided not to levy for a year, just because they had
Okay.
banked that much money.
I'll keep that in mind
It's been,
and I'll let
it's
them
at
know.
least 25 years ago.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Find that out.
Anybody else, board? Kim, I want to thank you. Kim has been very, very communicative, during our, not even call it flood report, but very, Get an ad back. You reached out back with, during Friday.
Friday.
Specifically.
And anything else that might be added to that little meeting about it, right?
The culvert that was blocked, Kennedy Trail was placed. And, so Kennedy is now moving.
Oh,
There's still a bit of sandbags in there yet. Because you can't put all of that in a deluge drain in the forest back there. But I think that's probably also, the rank obviously, tennis courts.
okay. Right.
To get over by 8-10 inches, whatever. And that
Super.
land back in there, and, anyway. I still have not been able to track down the origination at all. And, it does run through a portion of our property, but I don't know whether it's a section of property got in a trade with state.
Okay.
State did all their stuff. Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
But I know that I have not been able, through the cooperation of the county.
Wish-
Predates a lot of certain work.
Well, and we may want to just make sure we add that to, here's still things we need answers to.
Yeah.
Whether we'll get them and we can
Yeah.
find them, who knows that far back, but at least
The good news.
get it on there and try to address it and then say it's nowhere to be found or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is it appears like it is slowly but surely.
Okay.
Making its way, in the path in which it was intended to, and,
Good.
down there. And I thank the folks down at Kennedy, Trail down there.
Did we identify any problems with the tennis courts from the flooding?
Not any more than what you and I walked that day,
Yeah, okay.
down there. And I don't, I figured in July we'll look at it just to see if when everything settles out, because there still is a little bit higher water back
Mhm.
here. It's got to do its thing before we can figure out, what came first
Right.
when it comes to the cracks and things that are going on with it. But, and,
Cool.
and even to the point where we don't want to power wash it until maybe,
know.
maybe the middle of late summer because I don't want to chip anything up or disturb anything that might be,
Yeah. Makes sense.
wait till it dries, basically.
Yeah.
But we're getting there because we're getting more and more for sure. So,
Okay.
but anyways, Kim is
Cool.
very communicative. I
Thank
want
you.
everybody to know that. She is on the front line and know that her and her board take take a lot of grief on the, you know, the lake levels and the whatever, and Kim is not hiding anywhere, folks. Well, thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Kim.
You bet. That's a green light.
Yep. Any other comments in the audience? Come on up.
Greg Seemack, Gerrish Township resident. I just want to mention that for the last about 11 or 12 years, we've been operating the HLSIO, which has been controlling swimmers itch at Higgins Lake.
Speak up, buddy.
Okay, it's been controlling swimmers itch at Higgins Lake. And we're having a problem, and it's right now from the Fish and Wildlife. We actually got ourselves in a better position to deal with the DNR about problems with permitting this year. And then it got to be a Fish and Wildlife issue. So it's almost to the end of the cycle that we could even do anything if we were granted certain permits, but they've denied everything. So I'm just mentioning this for everyone's edification because there are broods that are appearing now on Higgins Lake. There are cases that have been reported to us about swimmer's itch. It's a little early to think the broods did it, but it could have been from infected snails from last year. But what I'm trying to say is we've got nothing we can use to stop it at this point. So it's been a long time since it's been like that. And we have had a couple of years recently where we haven't been able to do anything, but we haven't had many broods on the lake. I'm expecting that that'll increase. And so there's going to be a problem. I just anticipate there'll be a problem again. And I just want everybody to know it's with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife. And we can't get them to respond to our requests and inquiries. And that's part of the problem. There was a permit that was applied for in early January. They didn't respond to that until April 9th. And when they did, they denied it on one specific condition. It was they didn't want to allow relocation. And then it was submitted for reconsideration almost at the same day. And they didn't respond to that for about a month. And when they did, they included 6 new things that they'd never said before, 2 of which were things that they had the information from the first application. So it's just, they just don't want to do it. And they're just dragging their feet and creating obstacles. But that's going to be one of the things that's going to happen at Higgins Lake. So, oh yeah. And we still have the committee. I mean, we still meet on a monthly basis and talk about these things. But a lot of what we've been doing recently is trying to talk to people. I mean, we even tried to get to Jack Bergman's office to talk to Fish and Wildlife, and we've communicated with them twice. Susan actually did that, communicating with the same person that she talked to when she was doing some work with GLUA. And he's made inquiries, and they haven't even answered him. So it's not gone well, and I'm not sure exactly why. But we're going to have a problem again. And it's really, we could avoid it. It's just that we can't get the U.S. Fish and Wildlife to cooperate.
Were there active broods last fall that could have contributed to this problem? You sort of touched on that.
Yeah, there were 2 broods last fall. There were a couple of years ago, we had none. That was, I had told you at one time that was not possible. But I think that was the case because we kept relocating the birds. And they print somewhere else and then they don't come back. But the last couple of years, we've had a couple of broods. And so the snails that are infected are likely from last year's broods. The most infectious duck is the duckling for whatever reason. It's not like, that's why we don't have so much trouble with, there's migratory birds going in and out all the time, but they're not as infectious as the duckling. So when you have a brood on the lake, the ducklings are the ones that are creating the problem.
Do the broods, are they local to a particular area? Or do they
Well, they
call the whole
nest,
lake- call the whole lake home?
yeah, they nest in the woods and then they pop out whenever the brood's ready. And then they, kind of move around all day, and they can move a great distance in one day.
Yeah.
And they're very active right from a very young age. So
The program you had before was you moved them to another location.
yeah,
My understanding is they won't let you do that because of the bird flu or the avian flu.
avian flu. Yeah. And actually that was a problem we had with DNR, getting them to understand that too. But one of the problems is they're trying to protect commercial industries like chicken farms and things like that. But merganser ducks, which is the problem, merganser ducks eat minnows. They don't eat grain. So they don't go to those kind of locations. So the DNR kind of, after a couple of years in Michigan, understands that now. And I think they're kind of on our side. But the U.S. Fish and Wildlife has denied the permit to them to issue to us. And we're not able to get anything done. Well, yeah, it's not, we haven't talked to that, we haven't gone that route, I should just say. We've considered a lot of things, but haven't gone that way. We don't know anyone there. I mean, if somebody did know someone there to talk to, but it's almost getting to be too late. Yeah.
Well, this being a small number, I know this sounds kind of harsh, but calling them isn't.
That was one of the things. There were two things we were requesting permits for. One was calling them, and they haven't responded to our permit application at all. And that was, and incidentally, it's my understanding that the DNR in Michigan was contacted by someone at Fish and Wildlife asking them if they would approve it, if they would grant it, and they were told yes. And then they didn't do anything. And that was over a month ago.
So
And
Michigan said, okay, but feds came back and said no.
yeah, the people that we're working with within the DNR would have approved it. And they said no. Or I shouldn't say they said no. They didn't say anything. They just don't communicate. And on the other side of that, then the other thing that we wanted to do was there's a parasitic treatment. It's a drug that's never been used before. And we've tried to get this done in the last few years because we just want to do the research and see how well it works. So one of the things that we suggested was to do this research project. We capture the ducks. We don't relocate them. So there wouldn't be any problem with the bird flu. And then we would treat them. And then we would see if that the treatment would last long enough so that it would take the season and we wouldn't have the parasitic problem. And the drug is something called praziquantel, and it's something that's been used like for decades without any problems. We even had a toxicology report from a noted PhD toxicologist saying that there would be no issue for humans if we use that. They didn't care. I mean, it's whatever we send them, they either don't look at it. And we had a report, a peer-reviewed report that talked about the fact that praziquantel would work because we did a research study for that back in 2000. And the people said that our representatives at Fish and Wildlife have decided that they don't think it would work. So we're not going to allow you to do it for that reason. Okay, thank you.
That's it.
Thank you for your work.
Anybody else? Anybody on Zoom? Board members. There you go.
Nope, that was very interesting though, Greg. I'm glad you got your eye on it, you and the group. That's awful. And I did see a video of at the end of the Kennedy Drain of the water gushy now. Has there been any calls on it from the residents there? Cause it wasn't really pretty water. No, that's good. Good.
Look like it's done very well.
Yeah,
And I don't think they just kind of opened it up.
right. Mm-hmm.
At least it's moving.
Yeah.
You can tell it's a lot darker now.
I heard there was a log in one of the, what do you call them things? Culvert
Culverts, yeah.
that somebody did on purpose. Interesting.
Mary Ann Figley is retiring after 28 years of service with Gerrish Township. We're having a little gathering for her on Wednesday, the 17th. It'll be from like 4 to 6. Everybody's welcome to come out and celebrate her retirement. Well deserved. I don't have anything else other than that.
Did you mention that?
Yeah, I got a couple things. Are you going to talk about the compost site or want me to talk about it? Or,
You go ahead.
we have, I've made arrangements for the board. I've made arrangements with the people, with the guy that does all the grinding. He's leaving his loader up here for, if we want, he has agreed to leave his loader up here for what I think is a very reasonable price for the summer and a reasonable hourly rate to compensate for the use of that loader. And that would back away from your current contract and use that. The details of this is something we should work out at the work session, but We would also need to deal with another small contract to cover an operator for that vehicle too. But that's some stuff that's in the works, and we're dealing with more leaves this year than we had. Well, there's more leaves on site than there was a year ago at this time, because the agreement with them was that they left a batch of them for this next fall. So we got more leaves in the same real estate, and I think that this, if we can use their loader, their much bigger loader, we can do it all from the ground, and it operates a lot faster and safer than the way we were doing it before. So I've been in touch with them. They seem to be saying, yeah, that works for them. So I'll keep you posted as to how that's coming along. Now, the planning commission, you can talk about the planning commission?
Go ahead.
The planning commission last Thursday reviewed the septic ordinance. It was on their agenda, and our proposed septic ordinance came up and came in front of the board for them to take their first formal look at it. They had it on their plate for to take a look at for a while. They took the first formal look at it. The chairman also added in another document for them to sort of compare it to. So the planning commission is in the process of reviewing that and moving forward with it. So that's per plan. That's what we had in mind all along. So that's coming along. The Health of Higgins Lake is having, I'll call it an expo, and I think that's what they're going to call it, on August 8th. And we have moved we were thinking about having it here in this room, but there's a conflict with some graduation and other stuff going on here. So we're going to have it at the marina. Marina's got some open space over there, and we'll have it in either outside or inside, depending on the weather comes up.
Say August 8th.
Yep.
When did that change?
Oh, a couple days ago. Changed it Tuesday meeting, I believe, at
Today's Tuesday.
we went through the,
Just asking because Sue was just in here looking to talk to Christy, and she said they were doing it at the fire hall. Okay, I just hadn't
Well,
heard anything. I was just
yeah,
asking.
the fire hall graciously agreed to let us over there, but they've got a lot of good stuff going on too that same day.
Yeah.
And if this expo comes together like we think it might, it's just going to make everything pretty crowded with a big graduation party all day long in this room and in the parking lot and probably in the gazebo. So anyway, we moved it over to the marina. So more news on that. That's August 8th. That's still 2 months away, but I'll get you something more on that when it's fleshed out next month. And the last thing I had was the Higgins Lake Foundation sponsored had their Lake Savers Days, which they've been doing for the last 20 plus years at the Ram Center. And they invite in different organizations to come in and talk to the fourth graders from the elementary school here about various things. They talked about shoreline erosion, and some people from Camp Grayling and the police department were over there, our police department, with a side by side to talk to them about, police stuff and about that vehicle and whatever. And it's been a really popular program and done very well. They had an opening this year, and they asked if I would come over there from the septic committee and talk about septic tanks. So I said, sure, why not? I'm really good with fourth graders. So, so anyway, I made arrangements for a poly septic tank got it from Sargent's, and some piping, and I found a toilet and went over there and sort of mocked up what a septic system would look like, and was talking to these kids about this, and I'm going somewhere with this, and so we, there was 3 different groups of about, there must have been 15 or 20 kids in each of these groups, I guess. So they were pretty interested, and they had a lot of good questions, and you can only imagine fourth graders were just as interested in climbing down inside of this tank as they were in what I had to say, but nevertheless, it was pretty good. And the theme of it was the 3 Ps, and what you don't put in, the only thing that should go into a toilet is poop, pee, and toilet paper. That's it. That's all you put in here. And then we talked about, you know, tell your mom not to put grease down the garbage disposal, and everything that happens in the house has got to go into this system. We talked a little bit about how it comes together and, you know, what happens, and we want to keep the effluent, which didn't make too much sense to them, but, you know, out of the lake. And that was sort of the whole thing. And, so we got, you know, kind of toward the end, and this one little girl comes up and says, Mr. Jim, I think that, it really should be 4 Ps, not 3 Ps. And I said, oh, is that right? Why? What did I miss? And she says, well, it should be poop, pee, paper, and puke. So I guess they were paying attention or whatever. So only from a 4th grader. Oh. And I think that's all I got.
Are you smarter than a 4th?
That's story, Joe.
Jim.
Yeah, sounds like something off our link letter.
Thank you for doing that, Jim.
Oh, yeah, that was
So, planning commission, we are working on a master plan. The last meeting was last week, was a marathon. You were there, Greg, 10:30 when I got home. So, we spent a lot of time with going through the master plan draft. And then we still spent an hour and a half or so on the septic ordinance. And I want to point out, because we've had people come into our office asking for a copy of an ordinance. There is no ordinance. There is a work in process. Somebody's putting, I'll call it the fake book information out there that is not, I got that from Trump. No, actually, I did.
Hadn't heard that.
I made that one up, but anyways, it's not right. I keep having to
Correct.
tell people, we don't have an ordinance. We have a draft of
Framework.
ideas that came out of the steering committee. And we're a long ways away from having a working copy that would be meaningful and potentially a finished product that somebody could rely on. If you wanna know what's going on, come to the meeting and sit there and listen, or, you know, ask me or ask somebody on the board, but, you know, getting a copy of that, whatever it is, you could FOIA it, it's meaningless because it's not the finished product. It's not even close to what's coming out. So I just want to put that in perspective. Health of Higgins Lake, I think, is asking to put a flyer in with the tax bills. Today, I believe, finished everything I need to send this stuff to KCI, so I'd like to get a draft of that maybe by Friday.
Did you hear there's something being drafted up for it?
Yes,
Okay.
I was told, and I told them next week, but I'd like to, if you could pass that on Monday at the latest. Because I need to get a draft of all that stuff to KCI, and then it comes back and I prove it. And then, so the Gazette goes in with that. And so what they'll do is just charge us the differential for putting that other flyer in there, and then the Health Things like reimburses the township general fund for that. And then I guess the last thing is the tax bills are going to be out on July 1st as planned.
Something we look forward to, Jim. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
From my perspective, drains, and more drains and water, working through those issues. We do have the new 5-inch wall is on the cemetery. It's not connected yet. We're waiting for the trenching and then the inside work that would be necessary inside that mechanical chapel in there. While being there, we'll also looking at the chapel itself. We've got a water problem inside chapel. For some reason, either we never is still installed on the front. Somebody took it. Right? Can't hear me?
It's going in and out.
No? Okay. That's right. Anyways, to see, so that I've met with a with a contractor out there to see what it would take to bring that thing back up to something of some bit of a repair. The concrete is flaking up underneath the current. It looks like indoor outdoor carpeting in there. You can walk in and you can see it literally, and then under your feet. And it's just disrepair. It just hasn't been touched since it was built, I don't believe, really. And so we're waiting to see what that looks like. That was not budgeted for in this particular cycle, but have to take a look and see what we can do there. You heard us mention furnace issues. We have had the inspections done on the furnaces and whatever here, and there are 2 furnaces behind that door over there, and we don't know which one of them yet. Wouldn't know unless we tore them down to see which one's got having some parts per million problem on carbon monoxide. It's not red taggable. It's not like people are going to drop in here, but not likely to make the winter is what was told to me. And so where I'm getting together some quotes on those things too. And along with that, the 1986 air conditioners that are out there won't be compatible with anything you have to put in here. Those air conditioners came off the roof. And I think they're in the 80s. I josh about 1986. I'm grabbing that. Don't quote me out there in the world, but it looked like about 1980 some odd amount of. Anyway, so those things are happening. And again, Jim and I think we're just kind of, I'm the liaison for the compost. He's the liaison for the cemetery. And I think we're both just trying to hit both of them on all of this. I'm working with him on that compost stuff. And then as the reminder again for the board, we're going to have snowplow expirations that we're going to have to get on top of here in the summertime here, or no later than early fall. And then revamping a little bit out there at the compost site as well. And so there's lots of things in motion. We'll see what happens. It's what's behind door number 2. I believe for the Parks and Recs Committee, I did get a video of the urinal flushing correctly down at the Carlos Park. I don't know whether the plumber got in to get the key to get in to look at the hot water system down there, because they were turning that hot water on and it was, well, Jill emailed me while I've been off for a couple of days. So I'm working on that piece there, that the urinal is at least fixed. And if he got down and got the key, which I don't know,
He was in here yesterday for the furnaces.
then he probably got the key and going to take care of it. He's going to have to look at the hot water heater down there. My guess is, I don't remember looking at it down there, but it's probably a 1986 hot water heater or something down there. I don't, do you know? Have you been in? You know, anytime you replace anything with something new, it just,
When it breaks.
it's just
Yeah.
cyclical on down the line. But nonetheless, we're working on those things every day. And I think that's all I have. So with that being said, I would consider a motion to adjourn this meeting at 8:03. Anybody want to make that?
So moved.
Treasurer Anderson moved. Support trustee Osling. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Thank you. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.